This meeting is being recorded.
Raymond, good to reconnect with you, man.
Likewise, my friend. Long time no chat.
You have the most distinguishable voice. You know that? I mean it. You got a voice for radio, brother. You ever
I
been?
get that a lot. Somebody just told me that again last week. I used to get that. I would just walk in the convenience store and ask the clerk for whatever. Hey, give me a whatever. Hey, you have a
Yeah.
good radio voice. I've been hearing that for years.
Yeah, man. Good for
Appreciate it.
Is Jesse coming? I wasn't sure. I don't think he replied back like you did on that
I
one.
would doubt it.
Oh, okay.
Highly unlikely.
Well,
9 in the morning his time. He's usually out driving the kids to school still and doing stuff like that.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if he was jumping on after.
So yeah, I mean, I already chatted with him. I mean, more so like you and I probably need to get together to discuss exactly. I mean, Jesse gave me a basis of what he reintroduced us for, right, and put that little group thread together is to
Yep.
potentially collaborate on a high end mastermind type of sales program. And where I think you fit in, and correct me if I'm wrong, is more in the side of fulfillment and bringing another aspect to the mastermind outside of what Jesse and I already teach and know, and how that could be more appealing and offer more value to potential high level sales reps.
Yeah, that sounded exactly like what he had mentioned. Yeah, I'm the way he described it, I'm all in to add as much value as I possibly can. I branched off on my own last year,
Okay.
and so I've been doing my own thing, just solopreneur. Full transparency, I'm doing it part time, like working with my clients full time, but doing it part time. So I'm going through a separation thing, but that's all about to be completely behind me. So like I'm full force in, ready to rock and roll. And I was gonna say I just thought I'd throw this into the hat. I'm running. I don't have any enrolled yet, but I'm running a Lake Tahoe 1-day sales intensive that I put together everything for. So I just wanted to offer that up as something that if this weaves in some way that makes a location type thing available. I already got hotel booked, everything planned out. So
when's that for?
That is over the 4th of July in Lake Tahoe. It's going to be
that'd be pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, dude. Like boat cruise under the fireworks. So the first like 3 days are just like hang out, have fun, and then Saturday is going to be the intensive, and then everyone flies out Sunday was the plan.
So what's the capacity for how many you can have there?
I was thinking upwards of 10.
Cool.
Yeah.
Approximately 10.
So intimate. Could be bigger, but I just wanted to see if I could make 10 happen.
Yep. No, that's cool. So I like it somewhere around 10 to 15 is pretty much perfect. I just didn't want to, maybe there was only 3 to 5 spots, right? I just wanted to be sure we were on the same page.
Yeah. So I guess I'm kind of like a higher level detail guy just to get clear on it all. But I guess like because I don't know if you've seen like I've seen, right? Like the 7th level guys, Will Hinkson, Dean Casora, like all these sales guys that are Bill Walsh, the sales online, at least from the content I'm seeing, is really a lot of, at least recently, mudslinging, and it's like, we're better than you. It's just, it's creating a distaste. So I've been trying to be very intentional about posting everything as if it's not happening and like being very leadership minded in my content. And I guess I was curious your take then, like what is the mission of this? Because there's so much, it seems like there's so many options now available, and some of the options are very low ticket, like the I think it's called Hardly Selling by Will Hinkson and Dean Kazora and Sean Ray, but it's like $500 a month, right? And it's come and go as you please. So I love this idea. I think we absolutely have the value behind us. But I was curious, like, what's the mission? Like, how are we different? I'm just not.
No, those are great questions and things I want to discuss and clarify, and you to get my point of view on. Those are great things. So I know some of those ones you mentioned. I somewhat follow different people or what they're doing in terms of content. I see the Cole Gordon, Sean Kemp 8-figure boardroom mastermind, which has been getting phenomenal reviews. I see the Dean Coons and Dean Welsh stuff that they're doing together. I see the Nick Elia and what the other guy he's working with that was the top rec rep for Alaric Heck over at Ad Outreach for a long time. David Melham, I want to say is his name off the top of my head. There's a few people that I'm kind of always watching what they're doing. Dan Henry with his sales stuff, although he's got a big blend of a lot of marketing, branding, psychology, offer creation. So he and I gel on a lot of that because I'm kind of all over the map. Like with private clients or PDocs, I am our offer creation expert, and I've crafted over 3,000 high ticket offers. But for Sales Lab, I'm also, has closed over $10 million in deals, and more importantly, set a lot more sales structures and systems. I've done a lot more front end stuff. So to even close 10 million, as well as my expertise really being in the front end, I have a lot of expertise there. So I get some of what you're talking about there. And I think there is a lot of what you were saying in the market. I think there's very select few where people are getting value, or at least the perception is there that, hey, this one is legit. Where we like to stand out, number one, is our three main things with how we do sales training is to teach people how to do it ethical, integral, and solution-based sales. So I think that's like key point number one I want to say about our sales lab and our programs and our trainings and our masterminds would be very much driven around integral, ethical, solution-based sales. There's a lot of strong arming. There's a lot of psychology. There's a lot of buyer's remorse the next day. If you're doing all that shit, you're doing it wrong, in my opinion. So, that's number one to stand out. Number two is what you talked about very driven content. It's also how to be authentic and how to land ideal roles. I think that's another big problem. There's a lot of reps out there that are getting placed where crappy lead quality, crappy lead volume, no control over the marketing. They don't understand the pain points. So it's all about that combination as well. I think what the best masterminds and what we can offer, especially with my expertise, and maybe you and Jesse kick in here a little, but the combined aspect of understanding the marketing and the messaging and the pain points and what's grabbing their attention before they get to the call, as well as dialing in that whole sales process. One of the things I'm huge on, and you might have saw me talk about this or teach this, I know we didn't get together too long, is our micro commit sales process. How we have a 6-step process that now we can track back to low show up rates, low close rates. I know what part of my process I need to tweak or revamp. So those are some of the things just right off the top of my head that jump out.
Yeah, no, I'm in complete alignment with your top three. Role placement, I definitely see more of that coming up, but I guess I wouldn't be the best for that, just because I always get offers to me because people kind of know me now that I've been around the space. So I would have to leave that up to you guys. But in terms of standing out,
I get that for somebody like yourself, right? But also the mastermind, you're right. The mastermind will be more high level, so that might not be quite as integral. We talk about that more with sales training for aspiring reps or entry level reps that haven't really got that solidified role yet. Right. Those guys bounce around forever before they make their first million or 5 million, whatever that number is, before you're a legit sales guy, right? There's always that kind of number, whatever that is. It's subjective, yes. But there's always that number where okay, now I'm proven, you know what I mean? And before people get there, there's the people I talk to have gone through 6 offers that sounded so good, and then in week number 2, they realize they're getting 2 calls per day on their calendar, or they're getting 8 calls a day, but two people maybe show up, right? Or only 1 or 2 is actually got the money, and 6 are disqualified before I even get to the pitch. Those type of things. Another thing I think it's overlooked in the high level aspect that we teach is within our framework and how we go about the sales call. It's really how to customize that pitch accordingly to what's going to solve problem 1 or 2 for that business owner. I think even with certain sales reps at a high level, they get kind of drawn into a robotic pitch that sounds the same every fucking call they do, right? That's another, and I've just heard that from repetitive call audits. I get to the pitch and all of a sudden the whole call is genuine, authentic. You can tell it's a conversation. Then it gets to the pitch and one guy's talking and it sounds like he said the same thing 50 times exactly before, and then it gets to the end, and that's where you lose your flow a little bit.
Man, you are nailing the stuff that I've really been focusing on as problems in what I've been teaching. I'm in complete alignment with that. So, who is this for? Sales reps, or is it the broad brushstroke of content creators, course creators, business, online business owners, sales reps?
Well, I think this specifically, and that's what we need to define, and that's what was unclear when we first kind of grouped together. I have a pretty good vision on it. I mean, a mastermind should always be high level because A, you're charging, and B, the experience and the teaching or the lessons are going to be much different than I would teach somebody in my 3K 8-week program, right, or whatever that is. You know what I'm saying? So we need to dial that in, though. Anything we're going to go do with a new offer, we need to know the sophistication level and the ideal market that we're targeting. So also with the recent funding partner that Jesse mentioned, if we price this somewhere between 25 and 35K, we have a high chance of approval to collect all of our cash up front. And then the client or the attendee can still pay in whatever structure that they set up with their financing person. That's been a big bonus. Even yesterday, I can show you a screenshot right now. We just had one approved 40K cash collected up front, and that guy signed a 70K deal with us. So he still has 3 monthly payments of 10K for the remaining 30K, but we got 40 up front already approved.
That's your offer?
That's one of our Audience Labs offers. Yeah, we just got our 2 Comic Club awards last week or whatever because we just crossed 1 million. We started closing some big deals. We had our biggest one come through. One client, $112,000 contract, 95K collected up front, only 17 or so finance or owed through payments. So
awesome.
Yeah, we've been getting some big. What we do at Audience Lab now is, man, we branched out so much, and I don't even know where we were in that brand last time you and I spoke, but we kind of have like a core 17 and 30K high ticket, either 3 or 6 month programs for a long time. Now we have everything from $97 10-day challenges to $497 a month packages to $997 a month to 95K done for you, built out data agency where we give you all the data you need. We build out the funnel, the marketing, the sales reps, the assets, the VSL, the pitch decks, everything you could imagine. We build them a data agency from scratch.
That's awesome. That's huge, man. So, and Jesse made it sound like we have resources like that available for this offer to build everything up quickly.
Oh, we do. Yeah, we're owners of the company. We have all that stuff. Yeah, we can start to use our own data and our own media buying process. I mean, that's what we do right now. Somebody asked me the other day, somebody kind of high level I got into with a conversation. They asked me the other day, like, hey, so is one of your only trouble now like acquiring clients? I'm like, no, that's actually pretty easy, simple. I mean, consistent and predictable. Like we just know what the ROI is and when it's time to scale up and when we're at that threshold. There's certain times where everything's going smooth and I don't want to raise my ad budget just to try to get more clients. Like clients aren't really the issue.
Yeah. So for this then, it sounds like the way you've described it anyway, sales reps would be an ideal avatar just because of the fact, like you mentioned, job placement. And then like the pillars would really be around, it sounded like authentic branding, personal branding, marketing, and the connection to front end sales build out with like, is that primarily what you're thinking?
I don't know if you said it in there, maybe you did, authenticity and how to be authentic as a rep. I think because so many reps operate off the script or the framework for that particular offer, and they lose their own personality or vibe that got them successful. And when you say sales reps, yes, but I would like to define an avatar threefold. So let's just go through the exercise and I'll jot down some notes and brainstorm here. But when you say sales reps, when you say sales reps, I always want to get more specific, right? So like I'm looking at for this sales reps that have probably already made 5 to 10K a month consistently and want to get to those 5 figures and up consistently, 10, 20, 30, 40K months. I think that's the real avatar. Once guys are above 40K a month, they're probably not paying any money to join masterminds. I mean, they're in those circles. They're the high end. They're the 1 or 2%ers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think our real threshold is people making, ideally between 7 and 15K a month. And I think you can go a little above or below the ideal always. There's exceptions, but I think our core audience is right in that 7 to 15K earning per month.
Cool.
And looking to 2x that per se, just on an average goal. And when we start to talk about sales reps or the avatar, first I like to define the who. So if we're just staying within sales reps first, I think there's a couple other things we could look at, but this is primarily for sales reps. There might be a couple outliers. I like to stay within the ideal avatar. And if by chance we come across those people and they're a good fit, sure, whatever, right? So number one is identifying the person. Then I just kind of went into number 2. I like to always knock out some prerequisites. So again, certain revenue thresholds. Maybe they've been in this space between 6 and 12 months is going to be our core audience, right? I'm going to have to do a little bit of PDOC's research, which I will. And I'd like to show you some of the research on this call that I've already done for our Sales Lab brand and core values and the things you were talking about. I have all that stuff built out.
That'd be awesome.
I like to build everything specific to the actual offer as well and dial it in. So yeah, prerequisites. And then the third thing I always like to think of with my avatar is like, what have they already tried or what might they try instead of coming into our mastermind, right? So for me, they might have already tried coaches and courses, but they don't really understand the difference between a mastermind and the level it can build them up, right? They could be shopping around for multiple masterminds, and what might they try instead of me is going to a competitor that's going to be mudslinging and giving them tactics and not actually strategies and approaches that are custom, right? So like, those are the things I like, because that's what goes into all of our messaging and ultimately knowledge gaps when we start to run ads or get in organic conversations. It's like, hey, this is the bit you're missing from Bill Walsh's coaching or whatever, right?
Yep.
And we need to be able
Yep.
to stand out with that thing that's, oh shit, those guys are different. So that's what, those are the things I'd like you to, I'm sure some things were going off in your brain as I was talking a mile a minute. And add your thoughts or elaborate, what I just touched on.
Well, you're nailing it. I mean, I love how you just positioned what I'm seeing against those coaches, because I guess I'm not sure how to. My one concern is with a lot of these top guys that like came up through the 7th level sort of thing, and they went off, did their own thing. Now they've all come together. I think not Taylor Welch, but his brother Peyton is involved with it too. But it's called Hardly Selling. It's like $500 a month, and it's 4 guys that have all earned 7 figures in commissions.
Yeah, I'm familiar with 3 of the 4 of them.
And so, how do you?
I worked for Taylor and on Peyton, under Peyton Welch 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't doubt it. You got tons of experience. So, like, how do you position ourselves against something like that?
Yeah,
right?
So
like
there's 2 ways. I like to do one called the anti-authority. We're not quite the big guy. When you get into those programs, or you fall into Peyton or Taylor or Cole's, advertising and stuff, other than, and I guess this is a little different because at the mastermind level you do, but in most cases when you talk to those people's programs, you're talking to an appointment setter, a VA, an automated software, and like, so one thing is always positioning yourself as a little guy against the big guy, the David and Goliath. People like that, especially if you have a way to stand out. The other thing, without calling people out, but doing it in an ethical way, is point out the cringeworthy shit you're seeing in the marketplace and how we differentiate and do it the right way, per se. So you show, I always like to call these problem solution based things. And whether I'm doing this in ad copy or an organic post, it's like, hey, audience, this is the main problem I'm seeing. So you drop a mainstream problem in sales, right? Carbon copy pitches and robotic, whatever, some of the things we just talked about. Here's the mainstream solution. Buy somebody's high ticket 5K program and get all their course modules, but never actually get to have a coaching session with them. Here's the unexpected solution and what we do. So that reframes people's shit. That is the mainstream problem. Shit, that's what everybody's been telling me. Oh my God, this solution sounds makes so much more sense. Yep. So it's just through that way. You don't have to call out names or throw shade on people. You just call out what you're seeing for trends and be like, dude, this is why this is the problem. This is a better solution. Would you agree? And when people take your stance, that's what I call a strong frame of acceptance. They've accepted the new frame. Hell yeah, you're right, Kyle. Hell yeah, tell me more about that, right? That means they've accepted your frame. So what I'm always doing with my copy and my bringing in hooks is to reframe them of, this is what I thought was the solution. Oh shit, there is another way, and this one might be better. And once somebody does that, their brain goes to, what Ray just said is true. Nobody's really said that before. How do I find out more?
And cognitive
bias. And that's kind of like the psychological gaps.
Yeah. Okay, dude, so good. So I think just based on this conversation, like I'm going to be way better at helping on the delivery side. Like, so you mentioned the presentation. That's like, I actually feel like that and objection handling is my area of expertise, like my genius zone. And I actually put together like a free lead magnet, 72-minute training of like how to present a high ticket coaching offer, like word for word, all my slides, everything completely done. That's been one of my best actual 2-step assets.
That's
so
great.
Like you tell me, I guess, I don't know, man, you tell me, how can I support you guys like with this? Because I feel like you have such a great handle on the marketing, the angles. Obviously you're using, it sounds like you're still using eco for the advancement, the micro steps.
Yeah.
How can I support you guys? Just like, I'm here to help.
Well, 1 is for reliability. 2 is for kind of an alter persona, somebody that is more the closer, the finisher per se. Not to say I can't do that, but I do it a lot different than most. I do it much more relational and much more because I already have a front end relationship, generally speaking. So it's hard to teach that, or it's usually not the same circumstance as most people are in their roles. Number 2 is reliability. Like Jesse is a good counterpart to me, but he's just does so much within Audience Lab, funding, CFO, agreements, provider. He's just not been reliable enough to be on some of these sessions with me and clients. So it's good to have somebody always a yin and a yang, right? Yeah. And that's a big part of it.
Okay. So what sort of, like, do you need me to produce anything or what?
I mean, not right off the bat. We're going to get together some more on that very soon. I just needed this meeting to make sure we were on the same page and have the conversation we had. I'm going to go in and start doing my market research and put together some more resources specific to this. And I'm going to share my screen real quick and just show you a couple of things I have already built out for, like, about our brand, our product. Let me just find the right goddamn drive. Good, it's that one. I have so many different Drive accounts and different Gmails running. So, like, let me go back to my main drive. So for like product info and product info details. So let's go into this one. I think this is the one. Yeah, I updated this one recently. So like we have a whole thing about like this is our product and everything to do with like our vibe. And this is a very, very long document. If I'm clicking on the right one. Yeah. So like
Cool.
this is one of our big things too. Telling isn't selling, right? There's so many times, and you know this, that the prospect says, "Hey Kyle, you need my program to get this result." And we teach people how to ask the questions. So the prospect says, "Hey Kyle, I need your program to get that result." Hey man, I totally agree. So that if you just said that, what's stopping us, right? It's just a much easier conversation. So that's another one of our big points that I should have brought up. I think,
Absolutely.
you know, our AAA framework, you had mentioned overcoming objection. We've used this over and over and over again. This is what we like to call as a universal kind of framework for overcoming objections, rather than like the Bill Walsh's or a lot of high ticket. They have like flashcards, right? If somebody says spouse, you say this. So everybody kind of has programmed responses to each of the 5 or 7 major things you'll hear. But I like to have a framework that's universal that I can handle them all custom on the spot without having a triggered freaking flashcard pop up in my head to actually overcome an objection.
Dude, we are teaching the same shit in with different labels. Like this is so aligned with everything that I teach and believe in. Like it's perfect.
Go figure. For me, like this breaks down to simply like, let's take burned in the past, right? Hey, I've been burned in the past by another mastermind, and like I paid over 5 figures, and to be honest, I don't think I got any value from that. Hey man, I totally get where you're coming from, Derek. I mean, Kyle. I'm sorry in this case. Hey, I totally get where you're coming from, Kyle. You know, and I understand in this whole space, I want to say the biggest black cloud is there's a lot of over promising and under delivering currently going on. But is it fair to say that with what we went through today and what you saw and what we delivered, that there's miles apart from what we deliver in terms of results to what you got in the last program? Right. So I'm acknowledging what he said. I'm aiming the conversation a little deeper. I understand there's a lot of over promising. And then I just want to find out one layer deeper. Right. So again, just off the top of my head, really quickly, but going through that, I can always reframe it. And I want to make sure that they have certainty that this program will get them goals. If not, we didn't do something right already. Like I'm getting this objection because I fucked up earlier. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we also teach, and you teach very well. It's really how to pre-frame or how to run through the discovery, the pitch, and the tie downs to make sure that there is certainty, and you're going to get very few. It should only come down to one objection ever: finances. If we can make it work, it's good. Let's see if that's the objection we should always be going down to.
Exactly right.
Tie down, super important in what we do. How to tie people down to the own words that they said. You know, hey, Kyle, you told me 15 minutes ago, if you didn't get this problem solved, you might be out of business in the next 6 to 12 months. So what is stopping us from moving forward today? Oh, shit, you're right, Ray. You know, that I do have to make a freaking decision, right? And didn't you tell me you were a 9 out of 10 that this would get you to your goals? I mean, if you're going to make a decision, you think you're going to find something better than 9 out of 10 out there? And I mean, it's just all those little things that make it so simple that people overdo. But yeah, so this ethical selling, again, integral based, solution based sales, you're going to see all that. So we have how long is this fucking thing? 25-page document. I'm only on page 6, so I can send it over. But I mean, we broke it down, and I have a whole nother thing in a whole different file just about this one doesn't have it, our core values and all that. This is more the product and the values within the sales program. We also have core values like within as a company. So I already have all that shit mapped out. I'll put together and share all that information and put it into something that's going to be relevant for this.
Awesome.
But yeah, I just wanted to run you through a few of those things I had.
Jesse mentioned he talks almost like you really fast, but it was he's like we all have courses, we all have our own things going on. I wasn't clear. Is this something where if someone joins the mastermind and they all get direct access to our programs, which I'm fine with? I was just curious if that was part of the vision or how you guys like. Is there
if somebody joining the yeah, that would be so. Again, I don't think we have that laid out, and that's one of the things I want to try to build out. Is like what are the actual deliverables in the offer? But yeah, I'm going to throw in my high ticket course as a deliverable. People are paying us 25 or 35.
Totally.
I wouldn't try to pitch it elsewhere, and they shouldn't need it if they paid me that much anyway.
Exactly right. Okay, yeah, I'm totally.
Yeah, I think the more we can value stack in there, is going to be better in terms of resources, and that's what I want to get documented and put together and show you. We have you show me, or you will combine it and see what makes the best value stack and what really complements one another. I also don't want to put shit in there just to stack it and to have stuff that's not going to be applicable. Like I want to make everything relevant
or redundant. And my only thinking on that, because my only thinking was like, well, I'd be happy to just siphon off certain pieces. Like, for example, if the presentation is something that helps them and you guys don't have that, I could do a bonus training and lives that within your portal versus they just get a ton of access to shit they're never going to open.
True. Yeah, we could iron that out.
But whatever it might be. Okay, cool. what else did you want to talk about? Anything else I can answer for you?
Well, let's just say what I'd like to get your thoughts on real quick. What'll help me is let's just say that we have this thing all set to start to enroll, say 10 people. And deliverables are access to the course, mastermind with weekly sessions, and then also the in-person event mixed into that, right out there on the 4th of July. And people are ready to start, let's say, second week of May, two weeks from now or whatever, right? What would you say is kind of the format and how you would do the deliver? Like, what would you tell them they're getting in terms of their weekly support sessions and mastermind sessions together with us, other than the live event that's coming in a couple? Like, what would we start? Would it be, hey, we're going to meet once a week and we're going to go through this? Would it be intensive 2 to 3 times a week? Like, how would you see that?
I think the pillars, the first part would be the USP, right? So it's going to be authentic personal brand marketing. It's going to be marketing that directly drives into a sales process, and then a sales process that is ethical, integral, and solution based. From there, it would be the deliverables, where I would say it's probably a group call weekly. With the 3 of us, it might be better to have a little longer call, maybe 90 minutes, something like that, where they can come. Now, I'm not clear in a mastermind. It seems like it would just be Q&A, right? Or we can kind of go deeper on things they already have access to, which would be like in the portal. So then they also get access to your portal. Maybe it's like a copy of your portal with some additional bonus training that I can add, but the portal is their fallback to know exactly how to launch as a solo rep or coach or business owner, be able to launch their personal brand in alignment with their offering and their authority. And then from there, they can immediately be able to generate the leads through the marketing angles we give them, as well as advance them through the sales process while learning the skills. Mastermind content, I haven't really been in a ton of them, so I wouldn't be clear. Masterminds in my mind are like the people also teach each other, right? Which can also be dangerous. So I'm not really clear on that piece. But I think just one call, access to a portal, and then it might be cool to have like cohorts, maybe once a week or a couple times a week, where they can get together and maybe there's themes like, we're going to troubleshoot marketing here, we're going to troubleshoot objection handling here, something like that, which can be led by one of us, for example. That way it saves us time. We can kind of divide and conquer, but they get more value in a specific area, would be my thought.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I wouldn't say mastermind is primarily or mostly a Q&A. I mean, that's a section of it, but there should be one high level topic of teaching. Okay. Then it's kind of up to what we feel, if we want to make it more collaborative or if we just want to make it less in Q&A and implementation and support at the end, right? I think if we do get a high enough level of all, say, 5-figure per month earners and up, I would want to open it up to more collaborative and see what's worked for everybody, because I think they could each have one little tip that might help another person, might even help one of us, for all we know, right? That's the type of thing. If we're bringing in a more lower 4 to 7K per month people, let's just say, I'd make it more about us running the show and not really going for much advice or participation. So that is kind of, again, subject to the first handful of people we bring in. But what I think you said, more importantly, and I'm going to go map out, at least on my end and through my framework, is also how I see the offer pillars working. And then let's jive with that, or let's do it all together. It's funny, last week's PDocs live stream, in my PDocs group, I do a live stream. Every other week I bring on like a guest subject matter expert, and on the opposite weeks, I just go in and teach a lesson based off what I'm doing or my expertise. So I brought on a random group member. I just put a post in my group. Hey, people normally pay me $750 an hour to craft offers from scratch and make you a high ticket offer that's going to convert in the offer in the marketplace. I've done it for over 300 clients, yada, yada, yada. If you want to come on for free and be an example for this week's live stream, let me know. Guy raised his hand, a couple people, but fucking sure, let's do it. I go on last week, I run through my offer building worksheet and then my pillar form. I build out a 5-figure offer in under 45 minutes, all the pillars, all the subcomponents. Not only that, but I pitch it back to him, overcome objections in real time, and get him till he's ready to pull out his credit card and buy as if he's the prospect. So I did all that within 45 minutes from scratch. And my offer framework to build out pillars, again, I'll never go into the market without kind of pressure testing it through that. So let me start doing that exercise too internally, and then I'll make you a little Loom overview of what I come up with and send you the document, and we can get back and brainstorm.
Only other thing then would be like a virtual community location. So something like school, Facebook group, even Slack or Discord, just a place to hang out, I think would be great. And having channels where they can, I think that's, in my mind, like that's what I would want in a mastermind, is like different areas that I can kind of poke into and out of.
Definitely.
And then we're updating the newest, the most relevant topics in those areas with education.
Yep. I fully agree. I mean, it's cheapest and easiest to just do it right in Facebook group. And I've done it with so many, but I don't know how great of a user experience that is anymore. And that's what I would more focus on. So maybe school would be better for that. But yeah, we'll look into that. That's something I'm probably going to put into the pillars as well. And we'll reconnect on for sure.
One area that I don't see touched a lot, there is maybe a couple other sales coaches I've seen sprout doing it more, but like sustainability in sales, right? Like something that I would call the other 23. You take one sales call a day. What are you doing with the other 23 hours? And besides sales and revenue generating activities, but like, what is the lifestyle of a high performance, sales rep? Like, how do you actually sustain the game for not just, 6 months to make your money, but like 60 years? So I think that would be something that would be highly valuable that I'm not seeing a ton of out there right now.
Yeah, no, you're right. I actually had a live stream expert on last year, a guy by the name of Marco. Can't remember his last name. He runs a group called Renegade Closers. He's out of Italy. And one of his main levels of focus, what he taught to my group, and I had a bunch of high ticket closers and my own reps on that call. He talked about sustainability, health, fitness, the other aspects to a high performing. And that was actually a really fascinating session. I picked up a few things that I would have never, I do that now better for myself. But again, I just performed off of skill set and effort, right? I think that's another thing that's also overlooked. A lot of people, once they get to that level of, say, 10K a month, they almost hit prima donna status where I just want layup leads put on my calendar. And what business owners are always looking for are people that are going to put in the effort, the outreach, and have the approach or strategy to go also self-book for themselves. Now, yeah, so I think that's something that's getting more and more overlooked, And another big problem I'm seeing that I forgot to mention, it just kind of popped in my head because I run different sales organizations and I have reps reaching out to me and vice versa. A lot of times now I'll reach out for a rep to it for an offer. Hey, you reached out to me a couple months ago to, let you know if I had something, this, and this just came across my desk. I'm looking to place a couple people. And then I'll start getting interviewed about the offer. So like as a person trying to give somebody, the reps are now coming back because they're so coached by some of these other, hey, make sure you got on the right thing and you interview the offer owner if it's not a good fit. Like you can only go so far with that. You can't think you're more valuable than the business that's looking for a rep. And I think, I think there's a little things we can talk about with that as well. More of a mindset thing.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. Well, fantastic start, man. I'm super pumped, and again, really appreciate you guys thinking of me. Anything I have, if you have anything that I could possibly fulfill with you guys, like it's yours. So just let me know.
Awesome, bro. Cool. Yeah, give me 24, 48 hours and let me put some work into this, Phil. I'll go through my system and then I'll shoot you a loom or we'll just reconnect and we'll get Jesse on once. Now that we have a vision, I definitely want him in, but he would have had me handle all this anyway. You could probably see why. Like I would have probably been doing this. I just need to brainstorm with somebody, and I like having a different little angle because you've said a couple things that again go right into what I'm doing with just different terminology, or a couple of things I might not have even thought of with the sustainability, and just a couple other things you said. So yeah, it's always good to go back and forth with people.
Awesome. We'll get a cup of coffee. I think you need to wake up a little bit today, brother.
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't have enough pep in my step. You know what? And to be honest, something ironic, I've never had a cup of coffee in my life. I'm 44.
That's wild.
I've still never drank a cup of coffee.
Straight up savage. I love it.
All right, take care of yourself, bro. I'll be in touch soon.